Hello, my name is Rodney. I'm from the pOedGamerQuehegan YouTube channel, and today I'm going to go over something that I've been trying to put into words for a while, and I think I found something that's going to help me, and I will get to that here in a moment. But the reason why I love Halloween is because of the way I grew up in the neighborhood I grew up in. The neighborhood I grew up in had, I couldn't tell you how many houses, a very large number of houses in it. Because basically the neighborhood I grew up in had like 4 lanes in it, and then there's basically they were connected on both sides, and there's houses all over them. Like basically down the lane there were houses on both sides. Well, it was like a house, the road, house, a fence that separated that yard from your neighbor's yard, then a road, and then 2 more. Like that's how it was. There's basically a lot of houses compacted together. The yards were really big, so I mean, but there's just a lot of houses in this neighborhood. And basically, during trick or treat time, it's still in that neighborhood. When I go home to visit on Halloween, it's crazy. There's just so many kids everywhere. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of kids that come through there. And that's the way it's always been in my neighborhood. Just, it's always been an exciting time. It's like, oh, my friends that live like pretty far away, they come there to trick or treat because there's just so many houses. It's one of the best places to go. And I remember every year always looking forward to it, and like coming home from school, getting dressed up, and it'd be like an hour before you're supposed to start trick-or-treating, and I'm just sitting at the door waiting, just looking out, just waiting for some kids to show up on the streets. I remember my family, they didn't want you to be the first ones out. They didn't want you to be like, they wanted you to wait until there was other kids out in the roads, and it couldn't just be like 1 or 2 kids. You had to see the roads starting to fill up. And I was like, man. Generally, that didn't take very long, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but to a kid, that was an eternity. I mean, I was waiting like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, and they just didn't want you to be that. They didn't want to be the first ones out there. But I want to tell you a few stories. Some of my earliest trick-or-treating stories I remember. One year, it's about my mom making me and my brother a costume. So my mom and dad got divorced when we were very young, and she made me and my brother costumes after they got divorced. And it was a pumpkin. It's like what you'd make. It had this little orange hat with the green thing sticking on the top. Had white tights and these shoes and everything. And see, I'm going by memory. I don't know where these costumes are. I haven't seen them after that. I don't remember ever seeing them again. But my brother got caught, and they made him wear it. Me, I wouldn't. I ran. And so basically, I still had the costume from the year before. It was a GoBot, the airplane. I can't remember his name. The original, the leader of the GoBots. And I wore that for the second year in a row. And then we went out. We did all the trick or treating. And the thing was, I think Sam got pretty cold that year because it was just basically white leggings or something, or green or brown. I can't remember. But like I said, this has been a very, very long time ago. I mean, I think maybe this might have been second, third grade, if I remember correctly. I remember that. And then I remember just every year, it would be like when my dad remarried. It was me, my brother, my stepsister, and generally one of her friends would come along. And it'd be the 4 of us walking around the neighborhood, getting candy. And it was always... And the thing is there's so many kids that you didn't really get... they didn't really buy the good candy because there's just too many kids to do that with. So, one of my favorite candies to this day are candy cigarettes. I mean, I think they call them candy sticks now, but they were called candy cigarettes back then. And it's just like I have no idea what it's made of. Maybe just compressed sugar or whatever. And I love those things. And I still love them. Every so what like there's a website that sells like retro candy, and I actually every so often I'll buy them from there. They're not very expensive, but I remember on Halloween, because they were very cheap. It was really one of the cheaper candies you could buy. Like almost everybody gave those out, and I loved it. Oh man, it's just and like, but those what are they called? Mary Janes, I think they're called. They're like the orange and black wrapper ones. Oh, I hate those things. And Boston baked beans things, I hate those. Those were the two candies I could not stand, and my brother didn't like them either. So basically, and a lot of people gave those out. And we were like, no. And we were just literally, there'd be a pile of those. I think my dad liked the Boston baked beans, so he ate those. And I can't remember if anybody ate those orange and black wrappered ones. But yeah, they were just horrible. And some people would just give out like peppermints or something like that. But most people would give it like the really small lollipops. What were they called? Dum Dums. I still buy Dum Dums every so often. I love them. But yeah, and you got some. I mean, I remember one time one of the handles on my bag that I carried with candy. I mean, it was a pretty big. It was like tiny buckets. I mean, it was a big bag, and one of the handles broke because it was so heavy. And I remember some kids just didn't bring back. They actually brought pillowcases, and I mean, you could fill up an entire pillowcase with candy. That's how much that there was that people get that you could get, and just I remember like one year I going in I actually still have the mask that I wore that year. It's this zombie mask, this long hair on it. It just goes like way down my chest, and you put your shirt over it. It was really big, and it was like I never. That was the only time I ever wore a mask that big. Like I've worn the plastic ones, like a kid wears, it just goes over your face with the like elastic band around the behind it. But I never wore one that big before. And after that year, I never wore it again. I never wore one that big again because it was just crazy. Because you can't talk to anybody. You can only see these little holes for the eyes. But so that is some stories about. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't even finish the story. But going out in a mask and seeing people I knew and trying to talk to them, and they wouldn't talk to me because they didn't know who I was. And it's the thing, and actually, I remember like, oh, this sucks. That's one of the years, I mean, I still had fun walking around and getting candy and everything. But I remember after I got too old to go out for candy, I remember giving out candy. And that was another thing I really liked because I got to see a lot of people I knew. You got to see all the kids. I love to see all the kids dressed up, and just so many people that you know, or you kind of like, wait a minute, you're so and so's cousin, or just how you would always. It's kind of weird how you always know somebody, but something that I found. Okay, James Roloff, the guy that's the angry video game nerd, he has some cardboard cutouts in the background of his Halloween video for like the angry video game nerd he did, and I was like, that looks familiar, and it sparked something in me that I was like, oh my god, I gotta find out what these are. And I looked online for quite some time until I found the name of, and what they're called is from a company called Bestle, I think, Beistle. This is not a paid advertisement or anything, but this is what I remember everybody getting. They were cheap. Everybody put them in their windows. They were just these cardboard cutouts. And it was just, like at school the schools got these and put them up. But there was like a pump. I think they were a lot bigger. But maybe when I was a kid, maybe they looked bigger. I'm not sure. But I remember this pumpkin, the owl, the witch, and the haunted house. I remember like everybody having these. And I also remember the schools wouldn't get these. Because the schools would get these, but the next ones I want to show you, they wouldn't get because they considered these too scary. But I remember the cooler houses had these. The taller ones like this had like these are all from the same company. I found these on Amazon. If you look up that word and like cardboard cutout or Halloween, these will come up. But there's the skeleton, the witch, like her cauldron and everything, the black cat. I think this is a bird or some kind of I'm not sure what type of bird it is. On the back, there's that's got like a non-glossy version. On the front is really glossy, and there's the black cat. These, you have no idea. When I saw these, I figured I could buy them. The nostalgia this brought back in me. Everything about Halloween is kind of wrapped up in these. I mean, they're just cardboard cutouts. But it's something that registers with me because I remember this is how people, I mean, you've had some people throw up cobwebs, some people do this or that, but almost everybody put these up. I mean, these were at school, and department stores had these up. And it was always, it's like that. These were the equivalent. These are the Christmas lights to me for Halloween. That's what because there's so many people had these up, and it's like for the past few years I haven't seen them so long. Something's always been missing, but I never really understood what it was. And then when I saw these in the James Roloff's video, I was like, that's it. Though that's the Christmas lights of Halloween. Kind of. I love these things. And these literally came in the mail today for me. And I'm actually these will be put up behind me. Not all of them won't be. Some of these we put around other parts of the house or on my, like behind the camera or over here on the wall or something and they'll probably, honestly, they'll probably stay up year round because that's literally, these were something that to me growing up were more important than I realized. I didn't understand how important these were to Halloween for me. But some stories, like I said, I want to tell one more story. Okay, for a second I thought my camera was dying. But I'm going to tell one more story. I remember one year that there was a Halloween party about this girl I liked, and I went to it, and it was basically just like neighborhood kids and everything, and like she's like, you can dress up if you want to, but it's not a costume party. And nobody dressed up, and she didn't either. But she was disappointed because she wanted somebody to dress up, but she didn't want to be the one to dress up. And I remember we were out so late that night. I mean, we weren't throwing eggs or TPing houses or anything. We were like, we actually split into two groups. We played hide and seek, and this was like at 2 a.m. And these yards are so big, and we're close to the mountains. And it was just, I remember we would do, like we had a campfire going. It was in her yard. I mean, I was staying with my friends. I was staying at my friend's house that lived, I mean, literally like 3 houses down from her. So we were there until the party ended because we just literally went to his house. And his parents knew that they could literally look out their window and be like, oh, there they are. But, well, I mean, it's just being out on, like, it wasn't Halloween, but it was like around Halloween, and having, like, we had Halloween themed stuff, but just being there with a lot of my friends and talking and just being out so late, and we started telling ghost stories. And there was this one house, because this wasn't in my neighborhood that had all the land. It looked like I could walk. It was maybe like a 5-minute walk to this well, more like a 15-minute walk. But I could walk there very, very easily. but I didn't know like everybody in that neighborhood. I knew majority of the people though, because the town I'm from is really small and almost everybody knows everybody. But in other words, when I say I didn't know them, that means I went on a first name basis with them. I knew their name, but I just didn't. I was on a first name basis with them. But anyways, there was this one. I don't know if it was a house or it was a shed that a really big like a work shed or something that somebody built. But it was probably, I mean, it hadn't probably been used in probably 10, 15 years. And they started telling ghost stories. And one of them was like, yeah, there's somebody died in that house. And you could see, like, I mean, the yard we were in here and like the road. Okay, so the house is here. The road went up, curved down, and curved back this way. It basically was like a big loop that went like this, and you could go out to the main road. Like, so there's a loop here, and the road went to the main road. So her house was in the, like basically the middle of this street, and you go up and you go down, and you could barely see the roof of this house. Everybody had there's like basically everybody had one-story houses. Very few people have two-story houses in this neighborhood, and I remember when after they got done, they said, "Yeah, I saw a shadowy figure in the window," and everybody was like, "What?" I mean, this is maybe seventh, eighth grade, okay? So at that time, I didn't know. I kind of believed, kind of didn't believe in ghosts. I always wasn't sure, but so we were like, he just kept telling us about this shadowy figure, this girl, and everything. And it was really elaborate. I have no idea if he was making it up. I don't know if somebody told him this story or what. But everybody's like, I remember the next day, everybody's like, I'd never heard anybody dying in that house. And pretty much, like, I don't think there ever was. He was just pulling our leg. And after he was done, like, some people were scared. Some people, and he was just like, you guys go check it out. And I was like, let's go. I don't think he thought anybody would actually want to. And everybody else was like, no, we can't go that far. And I'm like, it's over there. We can see the roof of the house. And eventually, like, some of us went over there, and like, we didn't go. We went in the yard and we looked around the house, looked in the windows. And it was basically like an empty house. There's nothing in it. And we were like, all right. So we kind of like kind of disappointed, kind of relieved that we didn't see anything. Walked back, and we lied through our teeth that we saw all these ghosts and all this and that. Yeah, we just blew it out. Like, oh my god, we got over there and the wind started blowing, and we saw these, like, the curtains started moving. There were no curtains in the house, but we said the curtains started moving. So yeah, so we actually, the people that went knew, it was like, there's nothing over here. But the people that didn't were scared. The crap was scared out of them because we just made all this stuff up and just kept going on. And finally one was like, stop, I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anymore. And then we went on to other scary stories. But those are some of my stories of Halloween. They are parts of the reason why I love Halloween so much. A lot of it is the time I got to spend with everybody I knew, and it's the time that people got together. So I hope you guys enjoy Halloween as much as I do. I hope maybe if you guys remember these, leave me a comment. Let me know. Tell me, did you guys have them? Did you not? Is the first time you ever seen them? I mean, there's a bunch more than none of these. There's like in this group, there's like 8 of these. There's like 4 other ones. I think there's other ones of these. There's like skeletons. There's a black cat that's movable, and there's like these little games. There's 2 different like games. So yeah, there's a bunch of these things. Actually, over the course of time, I'll probably buy more of these, and so I can probably have one of all of the old. I think they call it a vintage collection. I'll probably get all of them eventually, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is a look, like I said, this is a look into why I love Halloween so much. I've just given you a small portion of some of the stories that I have about it. I don't want to bore you to death like with an hour-long video talking about a kid going out getting candy, which might get kind of boring. It might not, I'm not sure, but to me, these are very dear memories. I hope you enjoyed them, and till next time. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a like. If you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I release at least 2 videos a week. Most of the time I release more. Leaving a comment actually helps me a lot, helps me know what you'd like, dislike, or would like to see on my channel, so go ahead and leave me a comment. If you would like to get in touch with me, have any questions, anything like that, you can go ahead and email me at vmail@pOedGamer.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time.